Stand tall, walk free. Hi. This interview is about the fact that May 11, 1998, Robert Davis was killed by Pat Wyatt. And so we're going to go into Gertrude Carl and tell the audience what happened when Lance Russum went to see Gertrude Carl.
My husband came home one night after seeing Gertrude Carl and told me that Lance Russum had been to the nursing home where she was at and demanded her to take him off the will, to take my husband off the will. And my husband was executor to Gertrude Carl. And her health declined after that. And it was a few months later she died.
This goes to show you how Lance Russum is. And also I would like to say that Lance Russum, on the will of Arthur M. Jawad, he became the executor of the will because of Antonia Alio. And he destroyed everything, and he made everything go upside down. And he hired a lot of bad people to do away with Art Jawad's property, with Gallagher Lindsay, Don Lindsay. And I talked to the secretary that works there at Don Lindsay's place. She's with Repair, and she said, I'm not supposed to tell you. I was asking relating about Timberdale Properties, and she said, I'm not supposed to tell you about that. But we already know what Timberdale Property is. It's a hidden name to hide Art Jawad's property and to extort his money. And I also want to let you know that Lance Russum worked at the Bureau of Electricity in Alameda with a person by the name Hansen. And Barbara Hansen worked for Lance Russum, the attorney, and she did extortion. And also, in the will of Art Jawad's will, Barbara Hansen was a witness on the will. So it's really something very suspicious about the whole ordeal. You know, it's becoming very, very suspicious with everything that is happening. All this stuff that's happening with Lance Russum. He can't be trusted. Right. And just like Melanie Snell said, I'm not supposed to tell you anything. And she knows too much. She works for Gallagher Lindsay and Don Lindsay. He is nothing but a troublemaker. And he's done a lot of bad things along with Lance Russum. So what do you think about that?
It makes sense, because I remember when I was homeless and I was trying to find a place to stay, and I went to Gallagher and Lindsay to find a rental place, and there was a Joseph, I believe his name was Joseph Snell, and he discriminated against me.
And you know that Joseph Snell is married to Melanie Snell, and they both work for Gallagher Lindsay, but Melanie Snell knows a lot of bad things that's happening in Gallagher Lindsay, and like she said, she's not supposed to tell me about Timberdale Properties. And Timberdale Property is, it's a fictitious name to hide Art Jawad's properties, Arthur Muhammad Jawad's properties. They did a lot of extortion, and I believe that Lance Russum is involved in a lot of things.
Yes.
And he really needs to be looked into. But no one's doing anything about it at this point.
Yes.
So I want to let the audience know that this is a terrible thing that's happening here in the city of Alameda.
Another thing happened with Lance Russum. He had a meeting with my husband's father, and then he was going to charge my husband for the meeting that they had. And they were discussing my husband's affairs. And I think it's unethical.
Well, he is unethical because he's done a lot of bad things. And he's done highway robbery. He's connected to a lot of bad things, but the city of Alameda doesn't seem to understand that this man is nothing but a troublemaker. He is with James Stonehouse, and he's nothing but a troublemaker, and it's all dealing with the Catholic Church, right?
Yes.
And what's the name of the church?
St. Joseph's Church.
And so it's a lot of things that's happening, and it goes.
Lance Russum teaches there at St. Joseph.
That's right. And it all goes to the Vatican and Rome. And as you know, the Vatican and Rome, there's a lot of controversy with that, with the Black Pope and the Jesuits and the army. And they also have a Vatican bank in Rome. And so it goes right back to the mafia in Italy.
Yes.
And it comes right back here. And as you know, they have a 501c3, the Catholic Church, where they don't charge them anything for taxes. This is a scandal, okay?
Yes.
This Antonio Ailio, he goes back, his family goes back to the 1930s.
Yes.
With the mafia. And
he's a gangster.
His family goes back, way back. And it's all about money laundering and extortion.
Yes.
So I want to let the audience know we must stand tall and walk free.